There are two words that we learn to say since we were kids. I'm sorry. As soon as we're able to construct full sentences, our parents teach us to say these two simple words, as we learn early on that knowing them is a necessity to live in a society. With some, this may not come off as easy as others. Especially as we grow older, things like pride or shame cloud our minds and we leave so many issues unresolved. The weight of these moments secretly accumulates and eventually eats at our soul. In life, we all have to say sorry. It's just inevitable. But when we do apologize, are we so sure that we're delivering it effectively? Before I go into constructing a powerful apology, give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to know how to apologize the right way, and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to help you find the gold in mind. So why do we apologize? Relationships, whatever the type, nurture our hearts and minds. And apologies help to repair that pain, however big or small. Without an authentic apology, there are no closures, and without that, we are left with a lingering burden that hangs over us, making things worse. Authentic apologies can help a person clear the mental clutter and serve as a starting point to do and be better. It's a way to hold on to self-respect and integrity for the one receiving it. Owning up to your mistakes with sincerity helps to open up a dialogue with the other person and in turn helps to reflect on your actions. Genuine apologies process feelings and should shed light on the mistake you've committed. Letting go of your pride and knowing how to apologize can do wonders for your life. It can prevent a lot of burned bridges and unnecessary hurt. So then how do you effectively apologize? Well, according to a psychologist, Stephen Scher and John Darley, there exists a 4-step framework that people can follow to effectively apologize. These steps are simply to, number 1, express remorse. Say things like, I'm sorry or I apologize with as much sincerity as you have. If you don't mean it, it's better not to apologize at all. It's at this step most people stop. Number 2, admit responsibility. Emphasize with the person you've wronged. The whole point of an apology should be to put yourself in the other person's shoes and feel what you've done. Don't ever say, I'm sorry you feel that way, as it does not clearly admit to any wrongdoing. And then number 3, make the situation right. Try to amend your fault by attempting to make the situation right. This shows that you truly care about the mistake you've made and are willing to make up for it. And number 4, ensure that it won't happen again. While mistakes definitely can repeat themselves, ensuring to the other person that you won't let this mistake happen again is a way to extend that hand once more to rebuild that trust. It shows the other person that you're willing to work on yourself and do and be better. Dr. Aaron Lazar, a popular psychiatrist and research professor, was famous for his work in psychiatry as well as his popular book titled On Apology. In his book, he breaks down the acts of apologizing even further, noting key frameworks that echo the same points above. Furthermore, in a study published by Roy Lewicki, lead scholar in trust repair and development, he examined the reactions of over 700 people to different apologies. Lewicki and researchers discovered that there were 6 main components that define an effective apology. One of them was expression of regret. Number 2 was an explanation of what went wrong. Number 3 was an acknowledgement of responsibility. Number 4 was declaration of repentance. Number 5, an offer of repair. And number 6, a request for forgiveness. Although not every single element is required to make a great apology, the study did find that the best apologies often contain all 6. However, what was even more interesting to know was that how certain elements outweighed others in terms of importance. For example, findings in the study noted that the most important of all 6 was an acknowledgement of responsibility. The second to that was an offer of repair. As Roy Lewicki states, one concern about apologies is that talk is cheap. But by saying, I'll fix what is wrong, you're committing to take action to undo the damage. The element that was least important and could be left out if need be was the 6th, a request for forgiveness. Beyond what is said, Lewicki also notes that the eye contact and the appropriate expression of sincerity were key factors to a face-to-face apology. So as mentioned earlier, Dr. Lazar's book explores the power of an apology and how a truly effective one goes beyond just the individual, but helps in healing groups and even nations. As Lazar notes, an apology is a behavior that requires both parties an attitude of honesty, generosity, humility, commitment, and courage. When you make a mistake, the balance between you and that other person is thrown off. Dynamics change as thoughts and perceptions alter. But with great apologies, you stretch out your hand and heart as a means to help heal the other person. An apology is ultimately a gift that you have to give to a person, and most often, people accept gifts as long as they accomplish one of the following: restoring self-respect and dignity for the offended, affirms that both parties have shared values, validates and determines fault, assures that the offended party will not experience the same offense, punishes the offender, provides victims some reparation for their pain, allows the offended to feel heard, or gives the offended a sense of empowerment. As Dr. Lazar writes, a true apology is among the most graceful and profound of all human exchanges. When it is sincere, it is not an end, but a new beginning. So an apology is powerful, as you can see. It helps in reestablishing broken or hindered relationships, allowing a person to be responsible through their own words and actions. It's also important to remember that an apology, no matter how good it is, may sometimes not be accepted immediately. Everyone responds differently to conflict and pain. For some, it takes time. Whether accepted or not, just remember that apologizing is not a sign of weakness. It is about acknowledgement and doing what's right, clearing the air as best as you can. So own up to what you've done and know that whatever mistakes you've made, you've taken responsibility to reach out. And that simple act of sincerity can lift a heavy weight from your soul, ultimately letting your heart heal. So while apologies are important in constructing healthy relationships with the people that you love, if you'd like to learn more about other communication tips like this, make sure to check out this playlist. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so I can continue to feed you nuggets of gold like this that help boost your brain and behavior.